Recording this on a Saturday night after one of the most epic games in Golden One Center history. It all the makings of a big game. Luka Doncic returning, playing his first game with Kyrie Irving. The Kings needing a win because they only had a one-game lead on the Dallas Mavericks. These two teams were exchanging haymakers. It was the loudest Golden One Center has ever been, and De'Aaron Fox showed out in a big way. One of the best games of his NBA career. A season-high 36 points, but whoa. 26 of those came in the fourth quarter and overtime. An unbelievable performance as the Kings get a monster win in a playoff atmosphere, playoff intensity. They win in overtime, 133-128. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Bob?
Just a solid night all around, Deuce, from you, from the Kings. Man, I'll take it. This one, I'll remember forever. Not only because of, obviously, you and I getting to host together, but truly what De'Aaron Fox is capable of doing late in games. It's sometimes just like mind-boggling that a team can't figure out, can't stop it, because it's unstoppable at times with that type of speed, with that type of skill set, with that type of confidence. You ain't stopping that shit. Let's go.
12 points in the fourth quarter. He had 14 in overtime. It was just such a clutch performance, and this was a battle tonight. And I was so looking forward to seeing how the Kings responded.
Yeah.
We find out before the game, Malik Monk's out, hurt his ankle last night in that loss to Dallas. Sabonis was questionable before the game because he took a knee right in that quad and that thigh. I was like, is he going to play? He ends up playing, and he had some meaningful minutes tonight, a big double-double from him. The bench didn't show up last night. The bench was bad defensively. They had 24 points. What were they going to do without Malik Monk? They showed up in a big way, but the lead, obviously, is what De'Aaron Fox did. And he got named to the All-Star team as an injury replacement. He should have just been in the game because he has been this good. And tonight, against a team that you are fighting with in the Western Conference playoff race, he played big time. When Sabonis fouls out of the game, you're wondering, all right, how are the Kings going to respond? Fox went up to Sabonis, said something. I imagine it was, don't worry, I got your back. I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. And just like he has done so many times this season, he closed it out late in the game. I was just absolutely impressed with De'Aaron Fox. I think it's one of those games. It says this on postgame with you on NBC Sports. Like, it's one of those De'Aaron games that you'll remember in his career because there's just turning point moments in someone's career. And this year just feels like a turning point for him. And this game with the magnitude, this point of the year, needing a win, he came through. He was outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And we can break down every single thing that he did that was outstanding tonight, but it's becoming more and more consistent. Every time we are talking about it, we are talking about the same exact things that he is doing late in a game, last game. We have this crunch time tape that we go over after every game, especially after a win, just to show you like what went down to lead to that win in overtime. I swear it seemed like at times there was highlights of De'Aaron Fox getting to the same exact spot in the same exact place and making the same exact shot at times. And it was just like he would get where he wanted to get when he wanted to get it. He calls his shots. And when a player is capable of doing that, not only in this league, in the best league in the world, but late in games when a team needs it most and can rely on that guy, yeah, incredible.
He finishes with a season-high 36 points, 12 of 23 shooting. Morgan, double-digit free throw attempts again. 12 of 14. He was 8 of 8 from the free throw line in overtime. Knocking down important free throws. And that was significant in this game for Sacramento. There's just so much to talk about with this game. I saw a couple people asking about the officiating. Hey, the officials were bad. The officials were bad for sure. They had bad calls tonight. That's been the NBA this year. A lot of blown calls. But what I love tonight is the Kings' ability to just keep fighting. Dallas was the way they closed that second quarter to take the lead at halftime. That was concerning, right? The Kings were up, had a significant lead. Luka scores 9 in the final 3 minutes of the second quarter. Dallas has the lead. But the Kings kept battling. Even when they were down, they kept battling, making big shots. And I thought tonight, when you just watch the defense, I know you give up 128 points.
Yeah.
The second half defense was much better tonight. And I just thought they were more engaged. Even from the start of this game, the first quarter on, it just felt like these two teams are two really strong offensive teams going back and forth, big-time shots. I thought the Kings came out great tonight, and I was really impressed with how they responded after what transpired in the first quarter last night when they gave it 45.
And it all came down to how were you going to respond in that first quarter? How are you going to come out in this game? I kept asking Matt Barnes last night, who I was with, what do the Kings need to do tomorrow? What do the Kings need to do tomorrow? And it's like, just come out ready, come out engaged, come out strong. And tonight, the Kings in that first quarter, they finished shooting 64% in that first quarter. The Mavs were also shooting well in that first quarter, though. They were shooting 58%. You just saw two teams that were really both playing super well, right? And I think it was nice when you had the Kings kind of pull away in that second quarter, but then, man, Luka Magic coming back there right before the half, getting the lead at the half. Things got scary for a little bit. I felt deflated, but the Kings did not.
That defense late in the game by Sacramento, how many times was Dallas late in the shot clock in that game?
Oh.
And even when they made tough shots at the end of the shot, they were forcing Dallas to work. And it was masterful and important because Luka has been out for a minute, right? He's coming off the heel injury.
Yeah.
He had a great first half, but he didn't do much damage in the second half. He had 19 points at the half, finishes with 27. Kyrie did some amazing things late, but Luka was clearly gassed. I mean, you're watching him at times just bent over, tugging at his shorts. He was beyond tired. And the Kings' defense was great on him down the stretch, and De'Aaron Fox played some marvelous defense late in the game when Luka launched a three. He was up in him. And to me, that was the key for Sacramento tonight. Last night, there's so many communication breakdowns. Pick and roll coverages were just a mess. Tonight, it felt like there weren't as many breakdowns. It was like, yeah, Dallas had some nice plays. They execute their offense. They've got some talent from Kyrie to Luka. Hell, Josh Green, I thought, has been huge for this team. But man, did they really play a much better defensive game.
And something I wanted to mention that I didn't mention on the post game was that Tim Hardaway Jr. left this game, right? And that was huge for the Kings just because you know what he can produce on the offensive end, even though they added Luka Doncic tonight and didn't have Luka last night. But still, that was another guy that was a threat, not only from the outside last night, but also taking it in. And then you look at someone like Christian Wood, who at times seemed unstoppable, right? He only had 3 points, I believe, in that first half or early on in the game. And then when he started to catch fire, things started going. The Kings finally made adjustments. He finished with 15 points in 18 minutes. But when things were going hot for him, I was getting a little worried.
Yeah.
Kings got a little bit more physical. They made their adjustments in the pick and roll. The way that they were going to switch things, the way that they were talking it up was much different than what it looked like last night.
And in a game where Dallas hits 23s, Sacramento only hit 8 of 32. And that's something long-term. Hopefully they can get going again from three. I trust that they have enough shooting to get it going from downtown again. But during this last 8 games, they're at like 9 threes a game made, which would be the fewest in the NBA. But what they did tonight, points in the paint.
Yes.
74 points in the paint for the Kings. It was just absolutely amazing. I do want to stop for a second, give some love to all the people watching us live tonight.
God.
Close to 700 people watching us live after this Kings Mavericks game. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. All it does is help our channel grow. Make sure you're subscribed because we're trying to chase 10,000 subs. And we got to give love, Morgan, to people who have subscribed, but also new members, including Ryan, who has been a member for 7 months. the jacket, the scream. We are live. Thank you to Marco for subbing. Donald James has been a member for 9 months. Fire the laser, he says.
Yes.
Thank you to Jesus and Justin for the sub. Bad News Sour Grapes. Donate $2. What's up, Deuce? Great job on TV, my man. Much respect. Thank you. Appreciate Mace, Will, Carlin for becoming members. Gavano donates $5 and says, fog machine fun. I do have a fog machine, by the way. The Dark Knight has subscribed, and Martin's been a member for 8 months. So thank you so much. And also thank you to Mace for gifting 20 Deuce and Mo memberships on YouTube. You guys are the absolute best. I haven't heard some of these. I put a couple of highlights in from G-Man.
Okay.
What do you want to say?
You were just talking about the points in the paint before you got to everyone, and I just wanted to say, with the points in the paint, they were super efficient with the way that they were scoring in the paint as well. It wasn't like a whole bunch of shots were just getting jacked up, finding offensive boards, cleaning it up. They were efficient in the restricted area. That's what you want to see from this King squad, just making sure that they were making the most out of every single offensive possession.
I want to hear some G-Man. End of the game. Let's hear what it sounded like when De'Aaron Fox hit a big shot late.
Harrison Barnes has it, leads it out to Fox. Fox cruises, stutter step, into the lane, floater. He's got the bucket. 2-possession lead for Sacramento. 2:51 to go in overtime. Fox has 26. It's 121-117.
He had 26 at that moment.
Holy.
He finished with 36.
Yeah.
Big time free throws. And then the Kings won it at the end.
Fox wastes no time. He's ready. Here's the launch for the second one. He's got it. Fox, 12 straight made free throws. He's 12 of 14 on the night. Light the beam chant. It's about to be lit. There's a three-pointer to beat the buzzer. No good for Dallas. And Sacramento has bounced back. And in overtime, they get a 5-point win, 133-128. What a memorable night of basketball for the Sacramento Kings.
It is definitely a memorable night. Thank you, Steve Porter, for donating $20, saying, why not fire the laser? Morgan, you know what? We got to give the people what they want.
Arm the laser.
Arming the laser! Begin laser ignition! Fire the laser!
Thank you.
It's the rest of my energy taken out of me.
I want to talk about the crowd tonight.
Holy moly. That was electric. What?
Holy moly.
Yeah.
What a nerd thing to say. You're such a dweeb.
Okay, I do a lot, and I like everybody that wants to take photos with me. I always do this.
Holy moly.
And I do two thumbs up.
I've been at a lot of games at Golden One Center.
Yeah. And?
Hundreds.
For real, yeah.
And there have definitely been loud moments.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can remember some loud moments there. This was the loudest it's ever been. I mean, it felt like a playoff game. It felt like two playoff teams in it felt like a playoff series. Guys were going at it. It was big shot after big shot. We talk about Fox's shot making in fourth quarter overtime. Kyrie had some unbelievable shots. I mean, that 1-3 where he's like fading to the right, knocked it in. He had that one inside. Then I don't know how you even stop that. He had some incredible shots, but the crowd just felt so intense. What were your thoughts on the crowd? I'm almost speechless by it. It was great.
No, I felt there was something very magical about it. It felt like you're saying unreal to an extent. I was talking to Rocky, the photographer, who is obviously famous photographer, just does amazing work, has been with the Kings or around the NBA for so long now. And I was talking to him before the game about Arco in the crowd for some reason. Like, I was just like, yeah, have you ever heard it become that loud? And Gary St. Jean was there, and he was talking about this time when Gary St. Jean was coaching and the Kings were taking on the Sonics.
Yeah, 96.
I never heard anything louder than that.
Yeah.
And he was like, mostly because the floor and this, goes that way, but this can get loud. Tonight, I have to follow up with him and see what he thought after tonight, because in those big moments at the end of this game, oh yeah, I felt it, where you couldn't even hear Scott Freshour on the mic. And those moments are the coolest moments to be around and to experience.
Appreciate Citro donating $5. Saying, beating a healthy Mavs team means I'm replacing every porch light in my neighborhood with a purple bulb, whether they like it or not. That's actually a great idea.
Yes.
Kings fans out there, everyone go buy purple bulbs and then go around your neighborhood and just change out the lights everywhere.
Just do it.
Yeah. I'm sure that'll be fine.
For sure.
Luke's donated $5. Imagine the crowd in the first home playoff game. I need to be there.
Well, and that's, you talk about that home playoff or the playoff vibes. You have Mark Cuban down there in the corner. You know, you got Mavs fans there that are rooting them on, but obviously mostly Kings fans. Just a lot of coverage from national people because they want to see Luka and Kyrie in there. Oh no, don't sleep on the Kings. That's who you should be coming for.
Torch brings up a good point. That the crowd also drowned out the whistle on one call. No, multiple calls tonight late in the game. I'm like, I don't hear the whistle at all. It was that loud. Yeah, it was a very magical game. It's a regular season game. I'm not trying to act like the Kings just secured a Game 7 win. But, this time of year, you want to see how the Kings perform in big games. And let's be honest, during this 7-game road trip, it was up and down. They have not been playing great basketball. They played some bad teams. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride, right? Like, it hasn't been perfect all the time. So coming off the heels of what we saw last night, where first quarter was a mess, outscored them quarters 2 through 4, I was like, okay, how are they going to respond tonight? And they responded in a big-time way.
I love the way that they responded as a team, but going and looking down the list of some of these individuals on this team too, Deuce, there's a lot of guys that we got to give love to. But one I just want to say is Kevin Huerter. Some of those big moments that he had there at the end of this game, he finished with 8 rebounds. You look at his stat line and it's like, all right, you know he can still do better, but finally knocking down some of those big threes, 3 for 7 from beyond the arc, finishing with 15 points and 5 assists. I just love what he had to add, especially late when he had that offensive board and was like, nope, I'm going back.
That was a big offensive rebound.
Yes.
It was a huge one. And you mentioned the 15 points and 5 assists. The 8 rebounds were significant.
Huge.
And he hit some big threes in the second half. I think all 3, or maybe it was 2 of his threes came in the second half. He has been struggling from downtown, right? Like it's been really bad for him lately. He responded tonight. The bench play was outstanding. Terrence Davis, man, I'm really happy for him.
Yeah.
Like a guy that's been in out of the rotation, and he has these moments where you're just like, dude, he's locked in.
Yes.
He could score. And then he'll have defensive miscues where like Sabonis is getting irritated with him, Brown's benching. I mean, in that first game against Dallas, he was so frustrated with him. He went to Keon Ellis. Ellis, get in there. King still fell apart, but he was frustrated with Davis, and he's coached him up on the floor. Tonight, Terrence Davis came in and knocked down shots, sure, but it was his energy. And that energy was like so needed, especially without Malik Monk in the lineup.
Yes.
He came in and he's scoring, he's attacking. That alley-oop Fox threw to him was nasty. The crowd exploded. He's hitting threes. He finishes with 22 points tonight. He had 6 rebounds, 3 assists. He also had 2 steals. The other thing is he's had to, when you can throw a guy sometimes on Kyrie and Luka in a game, that's a huge asset. And I thought his play helped the Kings win this game. He came in and sparked them off the bench. Big time stuff from TD.
Absolutely did. In so many more ways than one, right? Not only just from his energy, but his production on the offensive end and the defensive end. And I was telling Deuce this on the postgame show a little bit about how he was looking winded there at the end. So we're a lot of guys, right? Like this is a back-to-back. You're going into an overtime. But for Terrence Davis, he is the epitome of staying ready at times. But my God, when you're not getting NBA minutes on the floor, even if you're keeping up with your conditioning, you're practicing, doing what you need to do, it's going to be difficult out there. He was asked to do a big task tonight, and that was to play late. He ended up with 32 minutes. One of those threes of his 2 came late in that game, in that corner, in overtime. I mean, just some huge moments from him, huge production. He ended up getting the Deepog trophy, Deepog chain as well.
Yeah, and I saw someone earlier go, oh, is Juice going to be upset he got the defensive player of the game chain when they gave up that many points? No, I'm not, because Dallas is a good offensive team for sure. And also, he made plays tonight, right? Like, yeah, it was a high-scoring game. NBA games are going to be high-scoring. I just want to see the compete level. Tonight's defense was so much better than last night's. It's not even close. Let's hear from Terrence Davis talking about how these games could help them prepare for the playoffs.
Terrence, does an overtime win and having to battle it out like that, does that kind of make it a little sweeter?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Like we just mentioned, it's going to be like that come playoff time. If we want to, make that happen, we're going to make that happen for sure. But it's going to be like that. You're going to have some ups and downs, and sometimes a lot of times you're going to have to fight through adversity. And I think we kind of did that. We had a few leads in the first half. I think a few 10-point leads, and they closed the gap pretty fast. And that's adversity, and we just kept going and kept knocking the wall down.
Yeah, they did. They really did. Also, look at that chain on him tonight.
It looks so good,
Good
dude.
for him. Good for him. The other thing I loved about his post game is he's like, oh yeah, De'Aaron is him. He kept giving De'Aaron love for his game.
I love it. I love it. And and that's what's so great too, is that these guys are surrounded with so many good teammates. They all just empower one another, and they know what De'Aaron is capable, and they do rely on him.
We also had a chance to talk to De'Aaron after the game.
Fine in the fourth quarter in overtime. Where did you find the will to push through and produce, De'Aaron?
Man, it's always just keep going, keep going, keep going. You want to be able to wear people down. Obviously, we were both on back-to-back, so you want to be able to just instill your will on a game. And I think in overtime, we did a great job of that.
De'Aaron, this was a big-time performance by you. What you did in that overtime session late in the fourth quarter, I just want to know what's going through your mind late in the game when it seemed like you just absolutely took over.
For me, it's really just continue to try to get downhill and create something. If teams want to allow me to just go down and it's myself and their big one-on-one, I think my team will pick that 10 out of 10. So I just try to keep getting downhill, and until they help, I'm gonna keep shooting the ball, and that's what they tell me.
Just a big win tonight, beating another Western Conference team, a team that added another star to their squad. What does this type of win mean to you and your teammates after a game like this?
It's big for us. Obviously, we didn't make any moves. Some other teams did, and if the moves weren't there, they weren't there. But for us, I always say I work with what we got in here. What we got in our locker room is what I work with, and I'm not worried about anything outside of that. So regardless of who's in here, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go out. We're going to play hard. We're going to try to win together.
That was fun.
That was so fun.
That was really cool.
Like, truly, this guy just had a baby, just made an all-star team, playing on the second night of a back-to-back in
he was great last night too.
Name, and it was great last night. Back-to-back, historic game, and really found it within, dug deep to get this win with his team. That's not on the stat sheet, and that's something you can't just measure and keep track of every single game. But for all the people that have doubted him for so long that he doesn't have that, I don't know what else this guy needs to do to prove to you that he does.